Hi, we're from Yes Prep East End, 10th grade pre-calculus students. My name is Megan.
And I'm Margaret. We're going to be talking about piecewise functions. Our first problem will cover how to graph a piecewise function, and our second problem will show how to write an equation from a graph.
A piecewise function is a function that is a combination of one or more functions, existing where the restricted domain specifies.
Our first problem is telling us to graph the function where f of x is equal to 3x plus 8, where x is less than or equal to negative 3, where f of x is equal to negative 2x, where negative 3 is less than x is less than 1. Also, where f of x is equal to x squared minus 3, where x is greater than or equal to 1. The first step to completing this problem is graph the function where f of x equals 3x plus 8, where x is less than or equal to negative 3. So first you want to find on the quadrants where x is positive for your y-intercept. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is going to be your y-intercept. Now you're going to graph the slope. Over 1, up 3. Over 1, up 3. Now in order to extend this graph, we have to go backwards. So you're going to shift down 1, go down 3. Over 1, down 3. Now we're going to extend this graph. Now the restricted domain tells us that x has to be less than or equal to negative 3. So we're gonna erase everywhere where x is greater than negative 3. So we're gonna erase all of this graph. So it also tells us that x is equal to negative 3. So you're gonna put a closed circle to show that negative 3 is included in this domain, and put an arrow to show that this graph continues. In order to complete the second part of this graph, the next thing you're going to have to do is graph the function f of x equals negative 2x, where x is less than negative 3 is less than 1. So first we're going to want to graph f of x equals negative 2x. We know that the y-intercept is going to be at the origin. So now we're going to move down to over 1, down 2, and over 1. We're going to want to do this for the second quadrant of the graph because this will help us when trying to extend it later. So up 2, over 1, up 2, over 1. So now we're going to want to extend the graph. You're going to want to erase where x is greater than or equal to 1. You're also going to want to put an open circle indicating that where x is equal to 1 is not included in this graph. You're then going to want to erase where x is less than negative 3. So now we're also going to put another open circle because the domain states that x is not equal to negative 3. Showing us that this is not included, which is what these two circles indicate. The third step into completing this problem is graph the function where f of x is equal to x squared minus 3, where x is greater than or equal to 1. So we know that the y-intercept is going to be negative 3. So we're then going to graph the rest of the function. So it's going to be 0, negative 3, 1, negative 2, 2, negative 1, and 3, positive 1. We're then going to do this for the second and third quadrant of the graph. So it's going to be negative 1, negative 2, negative 2, negative 1, and 3, negative 3, positive 1. So we're then going to connect the points and extend this graph. So after we have extended this graph, we now know that we have to erase the domain where x is less than 1. So from here and back, we're going to erase the rest of this graph because we know that this is not included because of our restricted domain, which tells us what part of the graph that we're going to graph. So we're now going to also have a closed circle because this equal to sign tells us that that 1 is included in the domain. And this is our final problem.
Our second problem states, the graph of y equals f of x shown here consists of 3 line segments. The domain of f of x is 0 to 6 included. Now we have to write the piecewise function. Okay, because this graph has linear line segments, we will be using the point slope form, which is y equals m being the slope, x minus x1 plus y. X and y being a point on the line. Now, for the first piece graph, we have the slope. We have to find the slope being up to, and then it goes over 1. So the slope, which is m in this case, will be 2x. And then the point that we will be using is 1, negative 8. Minus 1, minus 8. And this is our equation. Now we have to write the restricted domain. So it starts at 0, and because it is closed, it will be included all the way to 3. And it also is closed, so it also will be included. Now for this next piece, our slope is down 1, 2, 3. So m here is negative 3. X minus, and then the point we will be using is 4, negative 1. So minus 4, minus 1. Now for our restricted domain. It's from 3, but there is an open circle, so 3 will not be included, to 5, and it is closed, so 5 will be included. Now for this last piece. The slope, it goes up 1, 2, 3. So our slope here will be 3. And we have x minus, and the point we will be using is 6, negative 1. So minus 6, minus 1. Now for our domain. It's from 5, but because 5 has already been included, in this case 5 will not be included, to 6, which we have a closed circle, and it will be included. And now here we have our piecewise function. Thank you for your time.
We hope this video was helpful.